Patriots, we have one final battle before the new history standards are adopted for the next generation of Texas students. For over a year, you fought the radical activists from the Council for the Social Studies, the American Historical Association, Democratic Socialists of America, AFT, and designated terrorists at CARE. But these activists never stopped scheming and still found ways to sneak critical ideology into the standards. From claiming George Washington was a terrorist to calling Thomas Jefferson a villain, they haven't stopped targeting our youngest students with their revisionist history. One standard requires Texas first graders to identify racial segregation as keeping people apart based on the color of their skin, and to identify that Africans were enslaved in the United States because of the color of their skin. Think about that. Not the economic systems contributing to slavery, not tribal warfare which occurred throughout the African continent, not the global history of slavery that existed since time immemorial, just race. Why? Because critical race theory demands teaching children to see history and each other through race and power. Remember, during previous working groups to create the standards, a few radicals fought against teaching students the origins of the slave trade. They claimed teaching the full history would be traumatizing. This is not honest history. This is ideological framing designed to divide children by race and indoctrinate them at the earliest possible age. Another standard tells students to analyze how an author's point of view may have influenced historical content. That may sound harmless, but in practice, this framework is used to criticize America's founders and treat foundational documents like the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution as tools of oppression rather than pillars of liberty. Another phrase the Marxists pushed into the standards is teaching students to compare perspectives from groups less represented in traditional historical accounts. This is Marxist phrasing requiring everyone on the intersectional wheel of grievances, regardless of contribution to our country, to be studied. This framework is for dividing students into identity categories: colonizer versus colonized, oppressed versus oppressor. Sound familiar? Marx himself said, "The history of all hitherto existing society is the history of class struggles." Texans know where this ideology leads: privilege walks, student walkouts, poor academic outcomes, an epidemic of childhood anxiety over identity politics, children taught to view themselves through grievance and division rather than American citizenship. History education must not abandon truth in favor of endless ideological perspectives. Students must be taught to examine facts, understand historical context, and draw informed conclusions rooted in evidence, not radical political activism. Submit your comments today to tell the SVOE to remove ideological warfare and build the wall of separation between Texas students and radical Marxist ideologies. Texas classrooms must not become laboratories for ideological activism, and Texas parents will not surrender the next generation.